I stand alone by Hector Castillo's casket. The other mourners are already halfway to their cars, their steps quick with relief. I'm the last one left at Stonefield Cemetery, my fingers tracing the simple grain of the pine box. The small jar of honey in my hand feels heavy. It catches the weak autumn sun, turning the contents to a dull gold. Some inheritances aren't measured in dollars, I whisper. The breeze steals the words. I remember sitting on his lap, a giggling 8-year-old, as he let me dip a finger into a fresh honeycomb. The sweetness was electric. He'd explained how bees turn nectar into treasure. That was before the family decided Honeysuckle Ranch was a burden, not a blessing, before they let it die. If you're watching this video, tell me where you're from or what time it is for you. The attorney's office smells like old leather and floor wax. A massive mahogany desk separates Mr. Langley from our family. My mother adjusts her pearls, her eyes flicking to the antique clock on the wall. My father shifts, his starched collar already seeming to wilt. My sister, Delia, taps furiously at her phone. She hasn't looked up once. She isn't even pretending to care about this formality. Now then, Mr. Langley clears his throat, unfolding the document with practiced care. Regarding the property known as Honeysuckle Ranch, consisting of the main residence, outbuildings, and 2.5 acres in Stonefield. Just tell us what it's worth so we can sell, Dad interrupts. His voice has the same dismissive edge he's used for 20 years whenever Grandpa's farm came up. Delia glances up, her thumb pausing. Agreed. Liquidate and distribute. Simple. Actually, Mr. Langley peers over his glasses, your father was quite specific. The property is to be held jointly unless one member wishes to purchase the other's shares. Mom sighs, a dramatic put-upon sound. Who would want a derelict bee farm? It's been abandoned for years. We'd be lucky to get anything. The county assessment values it at approximately $95,000. Mr. Langley replies, his face impassive. Delia snorts. Who would pay that for a collapsing farmhouse and a field of dead bee boxes? I watch them, the way they erase Grandpa's entire life with a few words. A familiar ache twists in my chest. It's the same ache I felt when Delia took credit for my 5th grade science fair project. The same ache I feel when they praise her corporate promotions and call my administrative job sensible. Sensible is their code for unambitious. What they don't know is what sensible really means. It means 6 years of quiet rebellion. 6 years of brown bag lunches, thrift store clothes, and a tiny apartment shared with 2 roommates. 6 years of saying no to vacations and dinners out. 6 years of watching a savings account grow while they assumed I was just getting by. I'll buy it, I say. The words are out before I can stop them. 3 heads swivel toward me. Their expressions are a mix of confusion and pure amusement. You'll what? Dad asks, an eyebrow raised. I'll buy your shares, $62,000, paid out over 3 years. The laughter starts with Delia. It's sharp and cutting. With what money, Marina? Your admin salary barely covers your rent. Mom reaches over, patting my hand in that condescending way of hers. Honey, you don't know the first thing about farming. It's complicated, specialized work. Their laughter burns, but I prepared for this. I reach into my bag, pull out a folded bank statement, and slide it across the polished desk. $25,000 down payment. Today, the rest in monthly installments. My voice is steady. I can't believe it's steady. I can sign the contract right now. The laughter stops. Dad picks up the statement, squinting at the balance. $38,462.17. Where did you get this? He demands. I saved it. I meet his gaze. For 6 years, every single paycheck. Delia snatches the paper. This is ridiculous. You can't possibly maintain that property. It'll be foreclosed in a year, and you'll have wasted everything. I turn to Mr. Langley. Please prepare the paperwork. Marina, be reasonable, Mom pleads. That money could be a down payment on a real house, not some fantasy about rescuing a dead farm. It's not a fantasy. It's Grandpa's legacy. Fine, Delia snaps, throwing the statement back at me. Take it, but you'll fail, and we won't be there to bail you out when you come crawling back. Then you have nothing to lose by signing, I reply. An hour later, I'm standing outside the attorney's office, a folder of signed documents clutched to my chest. Rain begins to fall, but I don't open my umbrella. The cold drops soak through my blouse. For the first time in my life, I've chosen my own path, my farm. It waits for me, broken and forgotten. But I know something vital still lives there. I look up into the rain, and I see it. A single honeybee hovering impossibly under the building's small awning, sheltering from the storm. We'll make it, I whisper to the bee. Watch me. The next day, my second-hand pickup truck groans up the rutted dirt road to Honeysuckle Ranch. Every pothole is a physical reminder of what I've done. The truck, a faded blue heap of rust, cost nearly all my remaining cash after the down payment. I have $8,000 left to my name. I pull up to the farmhouse, and my stomach knots. The white paint has surrendered, peeling away in long strips. The porch sags in the middle, a toothless smile of broken boards. Wild blackberry vines swallow the entire lower half of the house. What have I done? I whisper, gripping the steering wheel. I force myself out. My boots crunch on gravel and broken glass. I survey what is mine: overgrown fields, collapsed wooden structures that must have been hives, equipment rusted into abstract sculptures. It's worse than I remembered. I walk to the weathered shed behind the house. The padlock hanging on the door is new. Grandpa must have replaced it before he got too sick. I fumble with the key from Mr. Langley's envelope and push the creaking door open. The smell hits me first. Beeswax and old wood, sweet and earthy. Dust motes dance in the light streaming through grimy windows. It's a time capsule. Tools hang on the walls in perfect, orderly rows. A workbench spans one wall, lined with jars of unidentifiable substances. My fingers brush over a leather-bound book in the center. Honeysuckle Journal, 1974, 2018. I open it. Grandpa's handwriting, neat and precise, fills the page. Decades of bee colonies, honey production, and weather patterns. I thought the Castillo family sold this place years ago. I jump, dropping the journal with a thud. An elderly woman stands in the doorway. Her silver hair is in a no-nonsense bun, and her eyes are sharp. Mrs. Jacobson. The name surfaces from my childhood. I'm Marina Rosales, Hector's granddaughter. I know who you are. She steps into the shed, appraising me. You were the quiet one, always following Hector around with those big eyes, asking questions. I bought the farm. From my family. Bought it? Her eyebrows shoot up. Well, that explains why your father looked like he'd swallowed a wasp at the funeral. Man never did appreciate what Hector built here. None of them did, I say, the words hollow. Mrs. Jacobson moves closer, looking at the journal. Your grandfather created something special with those bees. Had a way with them nobody else did. I don't know the first thing about beekeeping, I admit. The reality of my situation is a lead weight in my gut. But I couldn't let it go to developers. She studies me, head tilted. You need to find Theodore Harden. Theo. He was your grandfather's right hand for 20 years. Theodore Harden? The name is vaguely familiar. Ornery old cuss. Knows more about bees than most books. Works part-time at Patterson's Hardware in town. She heads for the door. Find him. He's your only shot at making this place work again. 2 days later, I spot him at Patterson's Hardware. He's tall and lean with weather-beaten skin and steel gray hair tucked under a faded baseball cap. He's explaining wood glue to a customer, his hands moving in precise, economical gestures. I wait, my pulse hammering, until the customer leaves. Mr. Harden, I approach the counter. I'm Marina Rosales. Hector Castillo was my grandfather. His face hardens instantly. The warmth I saw him show the other customer is gone, replaced by a cold fire. Castillo family, he spits the name. Never cared about those bees. 20 years of work, abandoned like yesterday's newspaper. What do you want? I bought the farm, I say, the words sounding small. From my parents and my sister. He snorts, a harsh, dismissive sound. Good luck with that, city girl. You're just looking to flip it like the rest of them. No, I'm not. Save it, I'm not interested. He turns his back on me and starts organizing a box of screws. My hands are shaking, but I pull Grandpa's journal from my bag. I open it to the last page, where he'd tucked a loose sheet of paper. His handwriting is frail, but the words are firm. I slide it onto the counter in front of him. He doesn't look at it. Please, I say. He left this. With an exasperated sigh, he snatches the paper. He reads the few lines. His whole body goes still. He runs a calloused finger over Hector's signature. Trust him with honeysuckle. He knows the way. Theo's pale blue eyes, sharp as a hawk's, study me with a new, raw intensity. You're serious about this? I am. This isn't a hobby. This is mud and stings and heartbreak. This is 4 a.m. mornings and 10 p.m. nights. This place will break you if you're not all in. I put down my life savings, I answer, my voice gaining strength. I have exactly $13,000 left to my name, a farm I don't know how to run, and a family that is actively betting on my failure. I take a deep breath. I don't have skills, just determination. I can't ask for favors. I can offer you $15 an hour, fair wages. We rebuild this together, as partners. Or not at all. The silence in the aisle stretches out. He just watches me, his gaze seeming to strip away every defense I have. Finally, he nods. Once. A short, sharp motion. Bees know when someone's honest, he says, his voice rough. They can sense intention. Your grandfather understood that. He walks past me to the door of the hardware store and points to the wooded hills beyond the town. Meet me at the farm. Tomorrow, 7 a.m., don't be late. As I walk back to my truck, my phone buzzes. A text from Delia. Found a realtor who thinks he can get $100K for the land. Not too late to cut your losses. I delete the message and drive toward the farm. When I get there, Theo is already waiting, an hour early. He doesn't say hello. He just points to a massive ancient oak at the edge of the property, where a dark cluster hangs from a high branch. See that? Wild swarm. Your grandfather's bees never really left. They've been waiting. The first week is a blur of clearing brush and hauling rusted junk. The farmhouse is unlivable, so I sleep on a cot in the workshop. The $13,000 is draining faster than I can track it. The ancient well pump needs replacing. The shed roof leaks. The truck needs new tires. We need capital, Theo, I say, going over my ledger. I can't even afford the lumber to rebuild the hives, let alone the bees to fill them. The bank won't touch a place that's been derelict this long, Theo says, sharpening a chainsaw. We need a different angle. That's when I see the flyer tacked to the board at the feed store. AgriFund Solutions. We believe in the heritage farm. Loans for revitalization. The logo is a cheerful green sprout. It's worth a shot, I say, dialing the number. A man named Mark arrives the next day in a shiny black sedan that looks ridiculous parked next to my rust bucket. He's all polished shoes and a fake tan smile. Marina, a pleasure. We love what you're doing here, he says, gesturing vaguely at the overgrown fields. Restoring the family legacy. It's a powerful narrative. He walks through the workshop, glancing at Hector's tools. We offer a turnkey solution, a loan package that covers equipment, branding, everything. We'll have you on shelves in 6 months. I have a partner, I say. Theo Harden. He was my grandfather's. The old-timer. Great guy, I'm sure, Mark interrupts, pulling out a glossy brochure. But his methods are, ancient. Our package includes consultations with modern apiarists. We streamline, we maximize, we monetize. He opens a tablet and shows me projections. The numbers are staggering. You just sign here and we handle the rest. We take the risk. You get the reward. I'm almost dizzy with relief. That evening, I show the paperwork to Theo. He's quiet, reading every line under the bare bulb of the workshop. "Where did you find this guy?" he asks, his voice flat. "At the feed store. He seems to really believe in the project, Theo. He believes in skinning you alive." Theo's finger taps a dense block of text. This interest rate isn't just high, it's predatory. It's criminal. He taps another section. And here, this default clause. If you miss one payment by 1 day, AgriFund Solutions claims collateral rights to, the land, the structures, and all brand assets associated with Honeysuckle Ranch. What does that mean? It means he's not giving you a loan, Marina. He's buying your farm for the price of one missed payment. This isn't a loan application. It's a trap. My blood runs cold. He said he was helping heritage farms. He's a vulture, plain and simple. He's preying on people exactly like you. People with a legacy and no capital. The next morning, I meet Mark at the farm gate. "Thank you for your time, Mark, but I'm going to have to decline. The terms aren't right for me." His polished smile vanishes. "That's a mistake. You won't find a better offer. I'll take my chances." His eyes narrow. "You're being naive. You'll be bankrupt in a month, but it's too late to back out of the application process." "What are you talking about? I didn't sign the loan." "No, but you signed the application, which included a processing fee and a preliminary asset review." He holds up his tablet. "I've already filed a preliminary lien against the property title, just to secure our position, of course." You can't do that." "I already did. Good luck getting a loan from anyone else with a clouded title. You should have taken the deal, Marina." He gets in his car and drives off, spitting gravel. "He's right," Theo says, his face grim after a call to Mr. Langley. "The lien is small, just a few $100s for the fees, he claims, but it clouds the title. No traditional bank will even look at us now." "So he wins? It's over?" My voice breaks. "No, it just got harder." Theo points to a crumpled brochure on the workbench. "The FSA, Farm Service Agency. They have microloans. The paperwork is a nightmare and the amount is small. But they don't care about a piddly $500 lien from a shark like AgriFund. They care about this." He taps Hector's journal. "They care about the plan. They care about the legacy. That AgriFund scam cost us a precious month. It cost me $500 I couldn't spare just to get the lien removed. And it left us with only one high-effort path forward." The next 2 months are the hardest of my life. The work is brutal. We clear the fields by hand. We patch the roof ourselves. We live on beans and rice. Every dollar is accounted for. I tack a calendar to the farmhouse wall, which is still damp and smells of mildew. I circle the date 10 months from now. My first and largest payment to the family is due. My phone buzzes constantly. Texts from Delia. "Given up yet? Ready to sell? You could still recover some of your investment before you lose it all." I ignore them. I throw myself into the work. Theo is a patient, relentless teacher. He arrives at 7 a.m. every day, no matter what. "Bees don't take weekends off," he says. He teaches me how to assemble the hive boxes, how to use the smoker to calm the bees. My first sting makes my hand swell up like a cartoon glove. "Good," Theo nods. "Now you know what it feels like. Get back in there." I fumble. I drop frames. I'm clumsy and slow. But his patience never wavers. "Slower, Marina. Your energy is frantic. They feel that. You have to be calm. You have to be deliberate." We're repairing the workshop's back wall, pulling off rotten planks, when Theo's hammer hits something solid. That's not drywall. He pries a board loose. Tucked behind it, wrapped in oilcloth, is a small tin box. Inside are note cards, dozens of them. It's Hector's queen breeding records, a private, meticulous documentation of his attempts to breed a honeybee line specifically for disease resistance and resilience to our damp Oregon winters. My God, Theo breathes, his hands trembling as he reads the cards. He did it. Marina, this is worth more than gold. If we can resurrect this lineage, it changes everything. We clear the eastern property line, a solid wall of thorny blackberry vines that tears at our clothes and skin. It takes 3 days with the chainsaw and machetes. On the third evening, as the sun sets, we break through the last of it, and we stop. Well, I'll be, Theo says. Hidden by decades of neglect is a spring-fed pond. Clear water glistens in the fading light, surrounded by flowering meadows we never knew existed. It's perfect, Theo says, satisfaction in his voice, protected, south-facing, near water and near forage. This is where we start. 2 days later, we position the first rebuilt, freshly painted white hive near the pond. Then we turn to the oak tree. This is the hard part, Theo says as we suit up. He shows me how to capture the wild swarm. His movements are gentle, respectful. He coaxes them, a cloud of buzzing life, into a temporary box, and then he finds her. Look, he whispers, pointing to a single bee, slightly larger with a distinctive coloration. She's marked. See the dot of paint on her thorax? That's one of Hector's. She's carrying his original strain. I stare at the tiny insect. How is that possible? After all these years? Theo's eyes crinkle at the corners. Henry always said, patience outlasts ridicule. He was right about most things. That night, I sleep in the farmhouse for the first time. There's no electricity and the water only runs cold, but the roof doesn't leak. I light a candle in the kitchen and write in my own journal. Outside, the crickets sing, and somewhere in the darkness in their new white box, Grandpa's bees have come home. So have I. By the end of the summer, the FSA microloan approval letter trembles in my hands. $25,000. The number blurs. I blink back tears. No time for that. We did it, Theo, I say, passing the letter across the newly installed pine table in the farmhouse kitchen. The house is finally livable. We have power. We have running water. You're officially farm operations manager now, I tell him, with a real salary. Theo adjusts his glasses, his weathered hands gentle with the paper. A rare smile creases his mouth. Never doubted it for a minute, boss. Rain pounds against the new tin roof. A week ago, we were huddled under tarps as contractors rushed to finish before the storm hit. Now we're dry and warm. Remember when you wouldn't even come inside this house? Theo chuckles. Said it was too depressing. That was before we had a floor, I counter, rubbing my calloused palms. Outside, 12 new beehives stand in neat rows by the pond. Henry's bees, thriving. I slide the Honeysuckle Ranch LLC registration certificate across the table. Official as of yesterday. Theo taps the paper. Your grandfather would bust his buttons, especially seeing those 64 jars of honey we bottled yesterday. The memory of our first harvest warms me. The golden liquid flowing, the sweet aroma filling the workshop. Premium quality, Theo had declared. Best I've seen in years. My phone buzzes. I sent a group text to my family an hour ago. A picture of the new hives, an invitation to a small Revival Day cookout. I look at the screen. 3 red receipts, 3 gray dots, 0 responses. My face must fall because Theo clears his throat. I force a smile and pocket the phone. Their loss. The words sound more confident than I feel. Later that evening, I'm labeling the honey jars in the workshop. My phone pings again. It's a photo, Mom, Dad, and Delia clinking champagne glasses at a fancy restaurant. The caption, celebrating Delia's Financial Innovation Award. So proud. Seconds later, a follow-up text from Mom, sent directly to me. Our proudest daughter, followed by a string of party popper emojis. My throat tightens. My phone clatters onto the workbench. Theo is organizing supplies across the room. He glances over. "Family?" he asks, already knowing. I nod, unable to speak. He walks over, picks up a finished jar of honey, and holds it to the light. The amber liquid glows. "You know something about bees that might help?" he asks. I shake my head. "They don't need applause to make honey, Marina. They just do the work." The phone rings 2 days later. It's Mom. "Marina, darling, we're having a family dinner on Sunday. Just us. Delia specifically asked if you could make it." Her voice has that artificial brightness, the one she uses when there's an agenda. Alarm bells ring in my head, but curiosity wins. I'll be there. Dad pours wine. Mom fusses over a roast that is clearly catered. Delia sits across from me, her designer outfit impeccable, her smile calculating. "So," she says after Mom serves the salad, "the farm. Show me the books." I nearly choke on a cherry tomato. The books. Financial records, business plan, projections. She ticks them off on her manicured fingers. I've been thinking, this hobby of yours could actually be interesting if structured properly. Dad nods. Delia's been telling us her ideas. Makes a lot of sense. A real Rosales family venture. I could handle the finances, the marketing, Delia continues, leaning forward. We bring in my investors. I know people who would jump at this. The family farm angle is marketing gold. We'll call it Rosale Sisters Apiary. Delia's business expertise would take this to the next level, honey, Mom beams. It's not a hobby, I say quietly, setting down my fork. It's a viable business. It has a solid plan, an FSA loan, and a partner I trust. This Theo person, Dad waves his hand dismissively. What does a farmhand know about modern business practices? He knows bees, I answer, and he knows loyalty, which is more than I can say for anyone else at this table. Delia's smile hardens. Marina, be practical. You're sitting on a tiny plot of land with a few bugs. I'm offering you a real company. You need me. I stand up, folding my napkin. Thank you for dinner. I need to get back to check on the hives. Their protests follow me to the door. You're making a huge mistake, Delia calls out. Don't come crying to me when you're bankrupt. I don't look back. Outside, Theo's truck is idling at the curb. He rolls down the window, his expression calm. Figured you might need a ride, he says simply. I get in, my hands shaking with anger. How did you know? People only show up when they smell honey, he says, putting the truck in gear, or when they think they can steal it. A week passes. A reporter from Ohio Valley and Farm arrives unannounced, a camera slung over her shoulder. Your neighbor, Mrs. Jacobson, told me about what you're doing here, she explains, her eyes wide as she gazes at the transformed property. Mind if I do a feature? The article runs the following Sunday. Granddaughter revives Stonefield's forgotten bee farm. The photo spread is beautiful. It captures the new hives, the gleaming workshop, and a shot of Theo showing me how to inspect a frame, our easy partnership evident in every frame. The article explodes. Our tiny online store sells out in 48 hours, but the biggest call comes on Tuesday. Marina Rosales, this is David Chen from Harvest Market. I almost dropped the phone. Harvest Market is the biggest organic grocery chain in the state. I read the article in Ohio Valley. He says, we are very interested in your story. The Heritage Queen line, the disease resistance. It's exactly what our customers are looking for. We're putting together our holiday gift baskets, and we want an exclusive. An exclusive? Honeysuckle Ranch. Our only honey provider for the fourth quarter. It's a huge order, Marina. $50,000. But we need the contract signed by the end of the week and delivery by November 1st. Can you do it? $50,000. It's enough to pay off my family in full, months ahead of schedule. It's enough to fund the expansion Theo and I have been dreaming of. Yes, I say, my voice shaking. Yes, we can do it. He emails the contract immediately. I print it out. Theo and I read it 3 times. It's perfect. No predatory clauses, no hidden traps. Just a straightforward, massive order. I sign it. My hand is steady. "This is it, Theo," I say, holding it up. "This is everything." "You earned it, boss." I leave the signed contract on my desk in the farmhouse, ready to be mailed via certified post first thing in the morning. I'm too excited to sleep. I'm at the workshop at 6 a.m., ready to drive the contract to the post office. Theo pulls up right behind me. "You're early," he says. "Couldn't sleep." I unlock the farmhouse door and stop. That's weird. The front door is unlocked. I know I locked it. I push it open. The kitchen is a mess. Drawers are open, papers are scattered. My desk is ransacked. "Theo!" He's by my side in a second. "What happened?" "The contract," I say, my blood turning to ice. I riffle through the papers, shoving aside ledgers and invoices. It's gone. The Harvest Market contract is gone. "Did they take anything else?" Theo asks, checking the rooms. "No, the laptop is here. The cash box is here." I run to the workshop. "The equipment is all here. They only took the contract." My phone rings. It's David Chen from Harvest Market. "Marina, I'm glad I caught you." He sounds cold, completely different from yesterday. "I'm going to have to pause our agreement." "What? Why? I have the signed contract right here." I lie, panic rising in my throat. "I received a call this morning from an anonymous source, a family member, I believe, warning me about significant ownership disputes and severe production instability at your farm." "That's a lie. It's my sister, Delia. She's..." "Ms. Rosales, I don't care about family drama. I care about my supply chain. My holiday baskets are non-negotiable. I can't risk a supplier who might be in foreclosure or a lawsuit in 2 months." "I'm not. I own the farm. I have the deed." "The deal is off," he says flatly. "No, wait," I plead, desperate. "Give me a chance to prove it. The Stonefield Harvest Festival. It's in 3 weeks. I'll be there. Come see for yourself. See the product, see the operation, see the proof of ownership." There's a long pause. "Fine. You have until the Harvest Festival. You'd better have more than honey, Ms. Rosales. You better have ironclad proof that you are the sole, stable owner of Honeysuckle Ranch, or this deal is dead." He hangs up. "She knew," I say to Theo, my hands clenched. "She knew that contract was our future, and she stole it. She sabotaged us." "She's not just trying to make you fail anymore, Marina," Theo says, his face grim. "She's trying to take it." He's right. 2 days later, Mrs. Jacobson calls me. "Marina, dear, you should turn on Channel 8. I flip on the small TV in the kitchen. It's a local morning show, and there, sitting on the studio couch, is Delia. She's smiling, poised, professional. The chyron beneath her reads, "Delia Rosales, co-founder, Honeysuckle Farm." "Our family's vision," Delia is saying, "is to integrate traditional beekeeping with modern, sustainable business practices. As co-founder, my role is to manage the brand and scale our operations." The mug slips from my fingers and shatters on the floor. This is the instability she manufactured. She's publicly claiming my company. "We should confront her," Theo says, his voice tight with anger. "Call the station, set the record straight." "No." I'm sweeping up the broken ceramic, my hands shaking with a cold, clear fury. She's playing a game in the media. We play our game on the ground. I run to the workshop and grab our honey label. She can't create, so she takes. She wants to be a co-founder? Fine. I grab the phone and call our printer. "Hi, Bill. I need a rush job. It's an addition to my current label. Yes, right under the name. I need it to read, Independent Family-Free Ownership since 1974. I hang up. "The festival is our last stand, Theo. We're going to win this, not with words, but with proof." The night before the Stonefield Harvest Festival is electric. The new labels arrived, and they're perfect. We work late in the workshop, which is filled with the sweet, complex aroma of Hector's special sage blend honey. "Hand me that wood polish," Theo says. He's buffing the aged wooden sign that once hung over Hector's roadside stand. Honeysuckle Ranch. Esta 1974 say gleams in the light. It looks perfect, Theo. Not done yet, he says. He reaches behind the workbench and produces a small new brass plaque. He'd mounted it to the bottom of the sign. It reads, Marina Rosales, owner and beekeeper. My throat tightens. Theo, Henry would be proud, he says, his voice rough, of the real owner. He taps an envelope on the workbench. Speaking of which, I open it. My hands tremble. It's the bank transfer receipt. This morning, using the last of the microloan and every penny from our online sales, I made the final accelerated payment to my family, 3 months ahead of schedule. Beside it sits the notarized deed transfer, signed by Mr. Langley. The farm is 100% mine. The lien is gone. The debt is paid. We did it, I whisper. You did it, he corrects. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow's your day. Morning arrives, bright and cool. The festival grounds are already swarming with people. Our rustic booth, with Hector's polished sign, stands out among the sleek corporate displays. And we are mobbed. From the minute we open, a line forms. Is this the local honey everyone's talking about? An older gentleman with a festival judge ribbon leans in, examining our display. Yes, sir, Theo says, offering a sample of the sage blend, 5th-generation bees, traditional methods. The judge's eyes widen at the taste. Remarkable. I scan the crowd. I see him. David Chen from Harvest Market. He's standing near the back, watching, his arms crossed. He sees me, and I nod. He doesn't nod back. Then I spot them. Dad's silver hair, Mom's pearls, Delia's designer sunglasses. They pause at the edge of the crowd, their expressions shocked by the throng of people around our booth. Delia's shock turns to calculation. She strides forward, slipping between customers. Sorry, coming through, excuse me? She positions herself right beside me, extending her hand to a customer holding 3 jars. Delia Rosales, so glad you're enjoying our honey. The woman looks confused. Oh, you work here too. Family business, Delia beams, projecting for the crowd. I handle the business side while my sister manages production. It's a true partnership. A festival coordinator approaches with a local TV crew in tow. We'd like to feature Honeysuckle Ranch in our broadcast. Could we speak with the owner? Of course. Delia steps forward, flashing her media smile at the camera. The coordinator glances at his clipboard, confused. My paperwork says the owner is a Ms. Marina Rosales? Right here, I say quietly, stepping out from behind the cash box. Delia's smile flickers. The camera turns to me. A photographer from the Agricultural Quarterly pushes forward. Can I get a shot of the owner with the product? Absolutely, I say. I casually unfold the paid-in-full land contract and the notarized deed transfer, laying them flat on the display table right next to our prize-winning honey jars. Just need to keep my paperwork organized, I say to the photographer. The camera clicks, capturing Delia's tight, frozen smile as she stares at the documents. She sees the paid-in-full stamp. She sees my name, and my name alone. The festival judge returns, a large blue ribbon in his hand. First place, the Heritage Revival Award, he announces, pinning it to our booth sign, right above Theo's new plaque. Best traditional product and presentation. The crowd applauds. The TV camera is rolling. David Chen from Harvest Market pushes through the crowd. He's smiling. He doesn't look at Delia. He extends his hand to me. Ms. Rosales, that's the most ironclad proof I've ever seen. The deal is on. Let's talk expansion. My family is frozen on the spot. Dad approaches awkwardly. Congratulations, Marina. We didn't realize you'd made such progress. Thank you, I say, turning to help the next customer. The rest of the day is a blur. The owner of Riverside Market places a standing order. The Westwood B&B wants to feature our honey in their welcome baskets. The representative from the Agricultural Extension Office discusses conservation grants for Hector's queen line. "This has historical significance," she says. During a lull, Delia corners me behind the booth. Her sunglasses are off and her eyes are blazing. "You could have included me," she hisses. "I've been offering to help for months." "Help?" I meet her gaze steadily. "Is that what you call stealing my contract? Lying on television?" "That was business. I was creating a brand narrative." "You tried to ruin me, just like you've always tried to sideline me." I gesture to the blue ribbon, "Like you included me in your successes. All those awards ceremonies I attended for you, you never once shared the spotlight." "That was different. My achievements were individual." "Just like mine," I say, and turn my back on her. Theo steps between us, a tray of fresh samples in his hand. He offers one to a waiting customer. "Family doesn't always share blood," he says, his voice quiet but carrying. "Sometimes it just shares purpose." Delia's expression hardens into something brittle. She rejoins our parents, who stand awkwardly at the edge of the crowd. They watch me signing contracts with new vendors. They watch Theo and me working in seamless coordination. Finally, they turn and walk away. Delia glances back once, her face a mask of fury and disbelief. I exhale, and a year's worth of tension drains from my shoulders. December comes with an icy wind that rattles the farmhouse windows. I press my palm to the cold glass, watching snow blanket Honeysuckle Ranch in white silence. My phone vibrates. The hospital. Again. "Miss Rosalise? Thomas's condition has worsened overnight. The pneumonia isn't responding." My throat closes. "I'll be right there." I grab my coat and the small jar of late-season honey, the last batch Theo and I harvested before his cough turned from annoying to alarming. The hospital corridor smells of antiseptic. Theo looks small in the bed, oxygen tubes at his nose. His weathered hands, usually so full of purpose, are still on the white sheets. "You brought the good stuff," he whispers, his voice scraping like a dry branch. "The wildflower batch," I say, placing it on his bedside table. He shifts, wincing. "January is the hardest month for the bees. You'll need to check the ventilation holes, clear any dead bees from the entrances after the snow." "I've got it covered, Theo." "The syrup ratio changes in deep winter. 2-to-1, not 1-to-1, he insists, a coughing fit shaking his small frame. "Save your strength," I urge, but he shakes his head. "The colonies need you now." His eyes, clouded with fever, fix on mine. "Don't forget to eat dinner yourself. You forget when you're working." My phone buzzes. A text from Mom. "Thinking about hosting family Christmas at the farm this year? The property photographs so beautifully in the snow." I silence the phone. Another buzz. A voicemail from Delia. "Mir, I've got a fantastic photographer who could do a professional shoot for our brand. Thinking we should revamp the marketing strategy before spring." The sudden interest burns like winter wind. 6 months of silence after the festival, and now, with my partner dying, they want to claim it. I spend the evening reading Hector's journals aloud to Theo. He closes his eyes, remembering, occasionally murmuring a clarification. Mom calls again as I'm leaving the hospital. "We really need to discuss Christmas plans. Your father thinks—" "I can't talk now," I interrupt, my voice sharp. "I need to check the hives. There's a storm coming in." "In this weather? Marina, that's ridiculous." "The bees don't care what's ridiculous. They need me." I hang up and drive straight to the farm through thickening snow. By flashlight, I clear the hive entrances. I check the windbreaks. I adjust the winter wrappings just as Theo instructed. My fingers go numb, but I work until every hive is secure. Theo slips away 2 weeks after Christmas, during the worst January snowfall in 15 years. I'm holding his hand when his breathing just stops. The hospital window shows a world gone pure white, as if the snow could soften the sharp edges of this. We hold a small memorial service in the workshop once the road's clear. Just a handful of local beekeepers, Mrs. Jacobson and the owner of Patterson's Hardware. No family, though I sent the details. I hang Theo's worn beekeeper hat on the wall, right beside Grandpa Hector's photograph, the two men who believed in me when no one else would. Not everyone born family stays family, I whisper to the empty workshop after the others leave. Winter solitude settles over the farm. I care for the bees alone, my routines meticulous, learning to trust my instincts. While organizing Theo's few belongings from the workshop desk, I find a folder. Future plans for honeysuckle. It's filled with his handwritten notes, breeding programs for strengthening Hector's queen lines, expansion possibilities, and contact information for a regional organic co-op he'd been researching. His final gift. Spring arrives and the farm explodes with life. I'm inspecting a newly active hive when tires crunch on the gravel, my parents' luxury SUV, Delia's sleek company car. There she is, Dad calls out as if we parted on good terms. We're here to help with the business. Mom surveys the property. We've been discussing ways to modernize the operation. Delia has connections with distribution channels in Portland. Delia holds out a glossy folder, a new marketing proposal. See how I've positioned the Rosales family legacy angle? My name fits perfectly in the executive leadership section. I close the hive carefully, my movements calm and deliberate, just as Theo taught me. I stand and face them. Without a word, I gesture for them to follow me. I walk them past the 36 thriving hives, past the expanded extraction room, and into the workshop. I point to the wall where two hats hang side by side. Honeysuckle Ranch isn't a family business, I say, my voice steady. It's my promise to the two men who believed in me. I point to Theo's hat, to Hector's photograph. They taught me that some things aren't measured in dollars or corporate connections. They're measured in honest work and keeping your word. Dad starts to argue, but stops. He sees something in my face he's never seen before. Mom's smile falters. You can't run this alone, Delia insists, but uncertainty creeps into her voice. I'm not alone. I gesture to the bees, a golden cloud working in the sunshine. I never was. They leave. Mom glances back once, her expression unreadable. Delia storms to her car without looking back. I return to my bees, who are indifferent to human drama, focused only on the work that sustains them. I stand at the edge of the flowering meadow. 36 hives pulse with life. A year has transformed this place. Miss Rosales, the school group is here, calls Melanie, the agricultural student I hired last spring. Coming, I answer. The Sustainable Agriculture Stewardship plaque gleams by the extraction room door. Inside, children from Stonefield Elementary press their noses against the observation windows. Their teacher, Mrs. Prescott, catches my eye and nods. The same woman who taught me in 5th grade. Who can tell me why bees dance? I ask, and a dozen hands shoot up. When the tour ends, a familiar silver sedan pulls into the drive. My stomach tightens. Delia steps out. Her designer heels sink into the gravel. She's alone. Your workshop looks impressive, she says, glancing around. National Organic Certification. Your name in that agriculture magazine. Not bad for a dead bee farm. I don't rise to the bait. Thanks for coming, Delia. What can I do for you? She fidgets with her car keys. I should have supported you from the start. The words hang between us, tentative. I wait. I was jealous, she says, swallowing hard, of your courage to just leap. You built something real. I've just been chasing promotions that don't mean anything. Her admission doesn't bring the vindication I once craved, just a dull ache for wasted years. Want a tour? I offer. We walk the rows of white hives. These are Theo's modifications, I explain, showing her the ventilation system he designed. He changed the whole game for winter survival rates. Mom and Dad never mention him, Delia says quietly. It's like they want to forget anyone who proved them wrong. She stops to watch the bees, and for a moment I see the sister I might have had. I was thinking, she suggests, we could start over, sister to sister, no business, just family. The old Marina would have wept with relief. The woman who rebuilt this farm knows better. Family isn't taken, Delia, I say. It's earned, every day. Her face falls, but she nods. Fair enough. At the honey house, I hand her a small jar with a gold label. Grandpa's sage blend. We found his recipe. She studies the jar. Will I ever be welcome here again? You're welcome as a visitor, I tell her honestly, not as an owner. Trust has to be rebuilt. It takes time. After she leaves, I walk to the apple tree where Hector's wooden bench now stands, fully restored. Theo's straw hat hangs from a low branch beside me. The conservation easement papers sit in my lap, ensuring this land will never be anything but a farm. I open Hector's journal to the first page. Patience outlasts ridicule, I read aloud. Truth outlives lies. Golden light filters through the apple blossoms. Laughter drifts from the workshop, where Melanie is helping visitors. 36 hives hum with life, and I watch my bees return home, their legs heavy with pollen, transforming nectar into liquid gold. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and consider subscribing. You can also drop any comment below, even just one word. Maybe tell me where you're watching from, or what time it is right now. Sometimes one word is enough to say you were here.